What's up? Welcome back to another video. It's after work on Tuesday, I don't know the date, I think it's like the 11th or something like that. We are working on the S15. There she is when she focuses. Today, intake. I'm going to put the intake on. I'm going to try to be sneaky and route all this wiring and shit in between it. Got my new intake gaskets over here. I have had my SARD 850s injector plugs put on, so they all work. Cheers to Hadyn's story from Drift Direct for doing that. And yeah, basically I want to get this whole side on, so that down there, all the stuff here, a few coolant hoses I want to replace. Let's get into it, eh? I've got the GoPro up there, might time lapse it, and I'll just pull this camera out whenever I want to explain something, and we'll cut it in and do all that fancy jazz. So hopefully the GoPro up there is still recording, which it is because it's flashing. I can see that. You guys can probably see when I lean over. I got the intake on. I had to use my long pliers, these ones here, just to feed these bolts through, and then obviously you go through and tighten everything up. I also have had all these off, so I'm going to have to put all these brackets on that hold that flush. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bolts there that I need to do. And then I also need to either find the other one of these or pack it up with some washers, because this is like for your fuel rail, sort of spaces it up, and I can't find one, so Must mean that I'm missing one, or drop one or something. It might be on the floor. I have to have a look before I put my injectors into my rail and my rail onto the intake manifold there. So I'm going to button those up, and then yeah, I'll sort all that shit out anyway, and then bring you guys back out and update you again. So I sorted my fuel rail issue. Here it is sitting here. No injectors in it yet. I just tightened it all down. I'm just going to now cut my cable tie here, put my fuel rail back on here, and then just sort of get an idea of where I want all my wiring to run. I want to try to hide it down in here. Might put a few zip ties around it just to sort of hold it. Obviously I need to work out where everything goes, so these two go up here to, these two, sorry, go to the, I think it's the idle air control valve, I'm pretty sure it is. This one is the adapter harness for your loom, for your injectors. This is your knock sensor one, and then obviously you've got two grounds here, so I just need to make sure that everything is going to reach and not be in the way. This is going to be in here like this. These are my throttle body ones, so yeah, I'll just get everything sort of run so it's not in the way and sort of accessible and looks tidy before I put the top half on, and yeah, hope it looks good, I guess. So because I'm trying to run this loom sort of inside this part of the manifold instead of along up here where it normally sits, I'm just really like thinking about where everything needs to reach to in order to make sure that it's not like getting tangled on something else, or I get the top half of the intake on and then this doesn't really fit. So looking at my injector loom, which is underneath here, if I could just put this up for a second, you can see it's only got the one big plug there which connects to up here. We have plenty of slack on this knock sensor that this will reach here easily, so all these will reach real easy. And then obviously our idle air control valve sits in here too, so these plugs are going to reach really easy. So I think the best way to do this is run the injector loom underneath. We'll chuck a couple zip ties here, just sort of holding it onto the intake manifold so it's not rattling around or being annoying. Then obviously these two plugs here, one goes on here like that, and the other one goes there. So yeah, just trying to, when you put your stuff together, just trying to make sure that everything's sort of out of the way and, you know, not getting tangled on something else, so that way it's just easy to access and nice and clean and tidy looking. You know, we all want a tidy, nice engine bay, so do that. So I think I've got everything run pretty clean now, looking pretty snazzy. This is how it's all sort of sitting. Nothing's sort of held down or anything yet. This is obviously needs to go to my idle air, like I was saying, and then up here is for my grounds on the back of the intake manifold. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit my top half of my manifold on now and just sort of get a rough idea of whereabouts that is sitting on here, so that way I know if I can cable tie my stuff down here, if everything's going to reach and if it's hidden like I want it to be, which hopefully it should be. So we'll test fit that now and see what it looks like. So some of it's going to be a little bit of a stretch, but I think I'm going to be able to make it work. And if you look from the front here, there's no ugly loom running through here. You can't really see it. You can see it's the injectors. I nearly forgot something, but I just worked it out. So normally you have positive crankcase, ventilation, etc., on your car. So on the S15 Sylvia, I'll show you where it is. You have this one here that goes from the block to the rocker cover. This one here that went from the rocker cover to the front of your turbo normally. And then you also have one that would have gone from here to this piece on the intake, right here. It normally faces up. All I've done basically to block this off is I managed to find a little lid. I put that lid in, fits nice and snug. I turned this into here and put this factory line on for now until I do some more research and find out how to block this off properly. It should work. Hope it works, but that's what we're doing. So if you're running AN fittings like I am, here's a way to cap that off, I guess. So we've got another fresh gasket for here. So this is a paper gasket. For whatever reason, this is just what they sent me at work. I think there was a steel one there before. This will seal the deal. Anyway, chuck him on there. Mint. Got them all resting up there. Just nip up this long john in the middle here. Like that. And now sort all my stuff out, get everything routed properly, I guess. And this is basically set. She's starting to come together now, team. Boys and girls. Starting to look like a motor again. And everything is going to plan so far. I say this now, I'm going to start it up later on, and there's going to be an air leak from somewhere or something stupid like that, and it's going to piss me off, and I'm going to take everything off and do it all again. But on the bright side, she is starting to look pretty. Can't see any of the wiring, it's all hidden. Even from the back here, you just see the loom where it goes in there. Brake booster, everything. It's looking tidy. My advice to you guys when you do stuff is do it once. So like put something on, make sure it's tight so that way you don't get lost in where you are. It just makes everything more simple. So I'm going to keep going, and then once I've got everything buttoned up, I'll show you everything so you know exactly what I've done, exactly where I've been, and then that'll be it for this video. One step close. So I'm all done for the night now. This is as much as I'm going to do. I'm going to show you what I did do. Sorry I didn't film all of it, but I got in a little bit of a rush because it was getting a little bit late and I still have to edit this, and you know how the deal, and I got to go to work and blah 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 blah. So here we have it. Intake manifolds on, everything's buttoned up that I touched. The only things I haven't done is the vacuum lines here, because I need to wait till I start pissing around with the vacuum to do that. My earth is on tight up here and here, everything's plugged in. Got my water ran here and here for my throttle body. This is for my intercooler piping. Yeah, everything's plugged in, everything's tight. The only things that aren't tight is this bracket here and this other one here, which is just sitting here at the moment, because I think I'm going to tack it with a grinder and then paint them again, because I don't need these tabs anymore, and that one there. But I still want these to be holding the intake to the block, so I'm going to modify those a wee bit just to sort of make them suit, make them nice and clean and look good. As you can see, Can't see my loom down there. It's kind of tucked in the inside of the manifold, which looks way better than it sitting up along here like it normally does. And that's going to give me a clear path for when I go 90 off here. I'll sort of run my braided line down here to the catch can. One from back here, or two I should say from here. It's going to go, one's going to go into here, and then the other one's going to go down into my factory port on my intake piping that goes into the front of the turbo. So this should be a nice clean little setup. Happy with the progress made. Hopefully by the weekend, fingers crossed, we'll have all the stuff for the hot sides, then we can put all that on, put all the intercooler piping back in, run all the turbo lines, and then basically this is all buttoned up, minus a battery relocation, and we just have to decide what we're going to do with the ECU. So we're getting pretty close, team. Give you one last look. Like, comment, share, subscribe. We're at 800, thanks for that. Let's get us to 1,000, and we'll see you in the next video.